Welcome everyone, and I want to say thank you to everybody who watched my last video on hillbilly hot dogs and the Mothman Museum, and everyone who liked and subscribed. A very special thank you to you. Today we are going to Western Ohio, to a town that the Native American Shawnee tribe called the Place of White Bones, and this is Wapakoneta, Ohio. Let's roll the intro. Welcome to V-Man on the road and on the water. This channel is dedicated to discovering and exploring points of interest, recreational sites, historical sites, museums, anything you might find entertaining in the state of Ohio and the surrounding states. And occasionally I'm going to throw in a fishing video just for fun. Hey, all my road warriors, let's go. As I mentioned, the Native American name for this place is Place of the White Bones, Wapakoneta. And it could be linked to the 3 finds of mastodon bones in the area over the years. But I want to talk about one person in particular that was born and raised here, and that's Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, July 20th of 1969. And this first place we're looking at is the Armstrong Air and Space Museum at 500 Apollo Drive, Wapakoneta. In 1972, this was the interpretation of what a moon base might look like. The museum chronicles Ohio's contribution to the history of aeronautics and space flight. The museum is home to the original Gemini 8, piloted by, you guessed it, Armstrong, to perform the world's first space docking. So there is quite a bit to see here at Armstrong's Air and Space Museum. That first series of photos was the Douglas F-5D Skylancer. That's a plane that Armstrong flew. There's, of course, the Gemini 8 spacecraft. There's the Aeronautica Champion, the first plane that Armstrong learned how to fly in, and that was in Wapakoneta. A Learjet 28 Longhorn, only aircraft Neil Armstrong set aviation world records in. There are several flight suits, not only from Armstrong, but also from Eugene Cernan, Jim Lovell, and Terrence Hendricks. There's a couple of things that I found that were kind of interesting that were there. And one of them is the United States flag that was taken on an Apollo 11 mission by Neil Armstrong. And they also have a tire from the Space Shuttle Endeavour. The one thing I really wanted to see was the lunar sample, which of course is just a moon rock. And now we're on the subject of rocks. I don't even know where to start with this one. This is a really interesting place. It's called Temple of Tolerance, and it's a rock garden created by Jim Boucher. And I'm going to have to use my notes to really get into this, but when I visited this place, it's in a neighborhood, an older neighborhood, probably built sometime around the 70s or 80s, and it was around the backside of Jim's house, and I thought I was walking into a small backyard, but what it actually is 2 acres of rock garden. Jim had purchased some green space that was basically landlocked behind his house and created this, I have to call it a masterpiece. And now I'm going to refer to my notes. So Temple of Tolerance is located at 203 South Wood Street, and that is in Wapakoneta. And this is about Jim himself, from interviewing a member of the Ku Klux Klan at age 12 to scouring the wreckage of James Earl Ray's childhood home Jim Boucher's insatiable curiosity and unmitigated passion for history have shaped and informed his life for more than half a century. His home in Wapakoneta, Ohio is a living museum of electric objects that each carry a story, sometimes personal, sometimes historically significant, always fascinating. An artist, archaeologist, collector, and storyteller, Jim is above all a humanitarian. His works include the 2-acre rock garden known as the Temple of Tolerance and the Pavilion Memorial to Ohio's War Dead are testimonies to Jim's belief that there are no ordinary people, only extraordinary individuals. Jim's memorial to Ohio War Dead completed in 2017. This memorial commemorates Ohio's killed in battle since the War of 1812. The centerpiece is an acrylic tube 8 feet tall and 1.5 feet in diameter, containing 71,388 shell casings, one for each fallen Ohioan, which Jim collected over a 3-year period from regional shooting ranges. The pavilion surrounding the tube is constructed in part from iron fencing salvaged from the homes of local Civil War veterans. The Temple of Tolerance. Jim Boucher's masterwork is undoubtedly the Temple of Tolerance. Developed as a refuge for young people battered by dysfunctional family dynamics and other destructive relationships. Jim spent nearly 2 decades moving and precisely placing innumerable rocks, many massive, along with other ornamental features, to construct the temple grounds. The meandering pathways surrounding the central temple reveal countless surprises, including a cottage built in the shape of a barrel, the door from a jail cell that once held members of the Dillinger Gang, and peaceful alcoves for rest and meditation. There is no charge to visit the temple, and it's open 24 hours a day. Till next time, my friends, it's good to be alive. Please like and subscribe.
I already did. Awesome.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The